Hello everyone, and welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Category Cavalcade. This time, the archetype we're going to delve into is my 5th favorite archetype, just behind Thunder Dragons, Dragon Rulers, and a couple of others. It is known as Ursarctics. Ursarctics is an archetype full of water attribute monsters that are either machine, beast, or beast warrior. They were introduced in the Ancient Guardian set in the TCG and OCG, with support being added in Burst of Destiny and Battle of Chaos. Also, as of this video, they were recently used by a character known as Ursarctics in the OC Structures manga series. Their playing style, at least for the main deck monsters, are tripping level 7 or higher monsters from your hand to special summon themselves from the hand, even during the opponent's turn. And they play off like the Dark Synchro Summoning mechanic from the 5D's anime and manga with the whole subtraction mechanic. But the only difference is that they don't go into negative levels. And the ironic thing is that since they can't be synchro summoned, once the extra deck monsters are either banished or in the graveyard, they can't be summoned with cards like Monster Reborn. Also, if you were to use the main deck monsters effect of special summoning them from the hand, you're locked out of Xyz and Link summoning for the turn. Anyway, let's get to the cards of this archetype. Ursarctic McPolar. During the main phase quick effect, you can tribute one other level 7 or higher monster from your hand, special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except monsters with a level. If this card is special summoned, you can add one Ursarctic monster from your deck to your hand, except for a copy of itself. You can only use each effect of Ursarctic McPolar once per turn. Okay, after this one, I am not going to read the first part of the effect, because all of the Ursarctic main deck monsters are just the same old tributing one level 7 or higher monster from your hand, special summoning them from your hand, and walking out of Xyz and Link summoning for the turn. It would have actually sounded redundant. Anyway, I do like with this one you can fetch another Ursarctic from your deck. And of all of the non-tuner Ursarctics on the main deck, this one is my fave. Ursarctic McTennis. If this card is special summoned, you can target one Ursarctic monster in your GY, except a copy of itself, added to your hand. You can only use each effect of Ursarctic McTennis once per turn. This is the only non-tuner Ursarctic monster in the main deck that I don't use as often, but I do find it cool that at least you can be able to recover one Ursarctic monster from your GY, so you can either summon it or use it as tribute fodder for the other Ursarctics. Ursarctic McBillis. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon one Ursarctic monster from your hand, except a copy of itself. You can only use each effect of Ursarctic McBillis once per turn. Now, with this one, I like it for the whole special summoning the other Ursarctic monster without paying the tribute cost. I do recommend special summoning the Ursarctic tuners, assuming you have any in your hand during your duel. Ursarctic Megapolar. If this card is special summoned, while you control another Ursarctic monster, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use each effect of Ursarctic Megapolar once per turn. Okay, I don't like how you have to have another Ursarctic on your field in order to activate the Tuner's effects. Because I'm like, why? You can use their effects during the opponent's turn, so I don't really get why this restriction is here. Although, the one thing I will admit for sure is that the only way I would be okay with this if it was something like this. If this card is special summoned, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy it. But if you do control another Ursarctic monster, you can destroy two spells or traps your opponent controls instead. Aside from that, an MST on legs is pretty cool, especially if your opponent decides to set some back row and you need to get rid of at least one of them. Sadly, you can't destroy it all with it, but hey, it's at least something. Ursarctic Megabilis. If this card is special summoned while you control another Ursarctic monster, you can target one card in your opponent's GY, banish it. You can only use each effect of Ursarctic Megabilis once per turn. I would have had it where you can banish 2 instead if you control another Ursarctic monster. But hey, at least you can pull up a DD Crow with this guy. That would be one less annoying card to deal with. Ursarctic Megatennis. If this card is special summoned while you control another Ursarctic monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down defense position. You can only use each effect of Ursarctic Megatennis once per turn. For this one, I feel like it should have been a banishing a monster face down so you can also get link monsters off the field. Assuming the effect didn't get negated. But, oh well. At least you can use this guy's effect to disable annoying continuous effects. Ursarctic Polari. Cannot be synchro summoned. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending 2 monsters you control with a level difference of 1 to the GY. 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner. If this card is special summoned, you can activate 1 Ursarctic Big Dipper directly from your deck. You contribute 1 level 7 or higher monster, add to your hand, or special summon 1 Ursarctic monster from your GY. You can only use each effect of Ursarctic Polari once per turn. Okay, this is where the dark synchro gimmick thing happens. Funny thing is that you don't necessarily have to just use Ursarctic tuners for this guy. You can even use lower level tuners, just as long as their levels are aligned with the non-tuner monsters that equal 1. Anyway, I do think the effect of activating Ursarctic Big Dipper from the deck is decent, especially when you don't have any cards in your hand like Terraforming to fetch it. Attributing a monster on your field to get another Ursarctic from your graveyard is decent as well. However, this cost can be altered, but I'll get to that part soon enough. Ursarctic Grain Chariot. Cannot be synchro summoned. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending 2 monsters you control with a level difference of 7 to the GY. 1 level 8 or higher tuner and 1 non-tuner synchro monster. If this card is special summoned, you can target up to 2 other cards on the field. Destroy them. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets an Ursarctic card you control. Quick effect. You contribute 1 monster from your hand or field. Negate the activation. I do like this card's first effect to pop 2 cards on the field, mostly on the opponent's cards, while that second effect is okay. But I feel like the negation effect should have been an Omni negate instead. But, oh well, at least you can negate an MST. Ursarctic Centandrian. Cannot be synchro summoned. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending 2 monsters you control with a level difference of 7 to the GY. 1 level 8 or higher tuner and 1 non-tuner synchro monster. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters without a level that were special summoned from the extra deck. If your opponent special summons on monsters, except for during the damage step, you can add 1 Ursarctic card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Ursarctic Centandrian once per turn. I will admit, this card's first effect is cool and all, but I do feel like it should also negate the effects of fusions and other synchro monsters your opponent controls. And its second effect should have been used whenever your opponent summons a monster in general. But I guess due to how special summoning is common in the game these days, the effect of being restricted to special summoning is alright in my book. I do like this guy's design and giant sword. Ultimate Flagship Ursatron. This card is always treated as an Ursarctic and Drytron card. Must be special summoned with Ursarctic Drytron, once per turn. If another effect monster is special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can add 1 Ursarctic or Drytron monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can target 1 of your banished Ursarctic or Drytron monsters added to your hand. Okay, with this one, I have never for the love of me have ever played this card, and to be honest, I don't see myself playing this card due to the fact that I play both Ursarctics and Drytron separately. Oh, so banishing 2 fields to summon this thing seems interesting, since there aren't a whole lot of fusion monsters in the game that would require spells and traps to be used as material. But despite that, the thing might look cool, but I don't see myself playing this card. Ursarctic Polar Star. Cannot be synchro summoned. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending 2 monsters you control with a level difference of 1 to the G1. 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner. You can tribute 1 level 8 Ursarctic from your hand or field and this card. Special summon 1 level 7 Ursarctic synchro monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. And if you do, it gains this effect. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters special summoned from the extra deck that have a level. Okay. At the time the script of this video was being worked on, this card along with another Drytron card were recently revealed. Reading its effect at first glance, it seems decent, but I do feel like its effect should have been a quick effect. That way it could have blocked the opponent from using other synchros and fusions. And extra deck pendulums too if the opponent summoned any from the extra deck. I might use this guy in the future, but who really knows for certain. Ursarctic Big Dipper. Once per turn, if your Ursarctic monster would tribute a monster to activate its effect, you can banish 1 level 7 or higher Ursarctic monster from your GY instead. Each time a monster is special summoned, place 1 counter on this card. Once per turn, if a monster is special summoned and an Ursarctic synchro monster is on the field, except during the damage step, you can remove all counters from this card, the minimum of 7, then target 1 monster your opponent controls. Take control of it. I do like with this card, you can banish an Ursarctic monster from your grave as an alternate cost for summoning them. Kind of a shame it's a once per turn, but hey, it still works. Also, I do like this card's other effect of swiping an opponent's monster from them, albeit requiring to have 7 counters on the field spell, but due to how special summoning is common in this game for the most part, it isn't a big deal. Ursarctic Slider. Target 1 of your Ursarctic monsters that is banished or in your GY. Special summon it, but it cannot attack. Also destroy during the end phase. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon except monsters with a level. You can only activate 1 Ursarctic Slider per turn. The only thing I'll have to say with this card is that I do like having another card to boost my reverse synchro summoning. Ursarctic Radiation. Activate this card by placing 7 counters on it. Each time an Ursarctic monster is special summoned from the hand or extra deck, you can remove 1 counter from this card. Draw 1 card. Once per turn, during the end phase, you can target 1 Ursarctic card in your graveyard, except a copy of itself, shuffle it into the deck. You can only control 1 Ursarctic Radiation. It is interesting that tactically you can draw 7 cards if given enough plays in 1 turn, and you can recycle your Ursarctic cards. But it sucks that it has to be the cards within your graveyard, because it would have been cool though if you can be able to recycle your banished Ursarctic cards as well. Also, it would have been cool too if you could be able to use the counters from the Big Dipper field spell as well. Ursarctic Departure. Discard 1 card. Add 2 Ursarctic monsters from your deck to your hand. If you attributed a monster to activate an Ursarctic's monster effect, except for the turn this card was sent to the GY, you can banish this card from your GY instead. You can only use each effect of Ursarctic Departure once per turn. I like this card for not only to get 2 more Ursarctic monsters to your hand, but also to use it as an alternative cost for a summon of an Ursarctic monster. Ursarctic Quincharge. Once per turn, you can pay 700 light points, then activate 1 of the following effects. Add 1 Ursarctic monster from your GY to your hand. Tribute 2 Ursarctic monsters, even if face down. And if you do, special summon from your extra deck 1 Ursarctic monster with a level equal to the difference in levels of those monsters, ignoring the summoning conditions. When your Ursarctic synchro monster is destroyed by an opponent's attack, you can activate this effect. Your opponent must shuffle cards into the deck so the total number of cards in their hand, field, and GY is 7. I do think this trap card is okay, but if I were to make changes to it, I would have had the first choice effect to add an Ursarctic monster from the banish zone as well. And the second choice effect is also to banish from hand and your graveyard as well. So the whole reverse synchro summoning thing does not have to happen only on the field. And with the last effect, I would have had it to where the opponent only has like 3 cards in their hand or so. Also, it would have happened to any Ursarctic monster instead of just a synchro. Ursarctic Drytron. Special summon one ultimate flagship Ursartron from your extra deck by banishing one Ursarctic Big Dipper and one Drytron Sneer from your hand in or field. Although you can banish one of them from your deck instead if Ursarctic Polari or Drytron Alpha Felbad is on the field. If you would tribute a monster to activate an Ursarctic or Drytron monster effect, you can banish this card from your GY instead. You can only use this effect of Ursarctic Drytron once per turn. I already mentioned that I won't be playing the fusion monster meant to be summoned from this card, so my opinion on this card doesn't change here. With the exception of one thing. This card's second effect. Why? Because of banishing itself as an alternate cost, kind of like Ursarctic Departure. Now, you might be asking, why do I like the Ursarctics? One reason is because I like the whole quasi-dark synchro thing they seem to be doing. The reason why I say that is because they act like dark synchros in the way that they're summoned, just without the whole negative level thing. Anyway, I also do like the whole bear design they went with, along with for the fact that it's based off of the Big and Little Dipper constellations. But, despite that, there's one major flaw with them that I have to agree with the majority of the Yu-Gi-Oh player base. It's with how they... well, what's the phrase?
How wasteful of the resources it can be.
Something like that, yeah. It has to do with the fact that you'll have to use so much of resources from your hand in order to summon these level 7 Synchro Bears. Granted, there are cards that can help out with the Archetype, but still. I feel like this Archetype may need some more support in the future. As an example, they should be able to summon from the graveyard when tributing a level 7 or higher monster. Also, not just from the hand, but also from the field as well. Another example is that I feel like they should have a monster that can treat level 6 or lower monsters as level 7 monsters while in your hand or field when summoning these guys. One more example, there should be cards for this archetype that can retrieve the Ursarctic cards from your graveyard and or your banned zone. But, aside from these flaws, I think the deck is kind of fun to use. If you are planning to make a deck out of this archetype like I did here and there, here are some cards I recommend to use. Crystal Girl, Tidal Dragon Ruler Waterfalls, Mother Grizzly, any other level 7 or higher monsters like Dark Magician, Red Eyes, etc. if you need any other tribute fodder for this archetype. Trial and Tribulation, Salvage, and more I agreed. Although, if you want to be a Dark Synchro-esque fanatic like myself, you can also add in Ultima Tzolk'in and whatever useful Dragon Synchro to get out with Tzolk'in's effect. And if you want to, Phantasma Lord Ultima Bushboken. But you'll need to have level manipulation cards. What I recommend is the Star Changer. Now, for the other archetypes to mix with, there is Drytrons if you like, and Ice Jades, I guess. Although, honestly, I never really mixed any other archetypes with Ursarctics. Well, that's about it for this episode. Do tell me what you think of this episode along with the archetype in the comments below. The next episode is going to be about the Ursarctics' cousin known as the Drytrons. So, until such time as we meet again, this is DigicX90 signing out.